What if I told you that what you're seeing right here isn't even half as bad as it looks? They just need a little more strategy. And by that, let me show you the 3 core strategies we're going to talk about. This guide focuses on 2v2, as it's the most played and the most demanding mode in Volleyball Legends. But everything I show you will also work on modes with more players. I'm almost lucky, and let's start with the strategies. First up, split blocking. Both players stay up front but cover different angles to avoid overlapping. The second one is the front-back formation. One player blocks and the other covers behind, allowing for wider coverage. And the third one is the double backrow defense. A pro level setup using only sets instead of dives to counter even the fastest attacks. But before we get into the specific strategies, let's talk about something that applies to every match, no matter your style: positioning. In 2v2, you and your teammate have to cover the entire field with just 2 players. That means split the field. One player should cover the left, the other the right. Depending on the strategy, you might later split the field into front and back, but for now, cut the field in half and stick to your side. And in my personal opinion, that's all you need, even in pro rank. But here's the crucial point: always be aware of your teammate's next move. If both of you end up in the same position, you're leaving the rest of the court completely open. And that's how easy points happen, especially on serves. Don't mess this up, cause I've seen many guys messing this up. If your teammate is serving from the right, you go left. If he's serving left, you go right. If they're in the middle, you pick a corner, and they should take the other one after the serve. The same logic applies when the opponents serve. Just split the field and wait for an opening. And if you ever face a team not doing this, congrats, you just got a free point. But there's one crucial thing you need to know when receiving serves. You've got 3 basic options: the dive, the bump, or the set receive. You cannot jump set or spike a serve. If you go for a bump or a set, you need to be careful with your power. By default, you might just launch the ball right back into the opponent's hands. To avoid that, activate advanced moves. And now hold the button of your action. This will decrease the power and give you better control over your receive. The next thing that applies to any situation, no matter your rank or strategy, is something simple but incredibly powerful: awareness. Watch your teammate, watch your opponents, start building game sense every single round. Here are 3 easy things you can do to sharpen your awareness. First, count the ball touches. Sounds easy, right? Then do it. Each team gets 3 touches, no more, with one exception I'll mention later. By counting them, you'll know exactly when a spike can or has to happen, and you can prepare for it instead of guessing. The second, learn habits, yours and theirs. If your teammate keeps missing a certain set, don't just keep doing it, and don't blame them. Maybe they just have a bad day or aren't that experienced yet, but you want to win, right? So stop doing it. Instead, either change your playstyle or just ask if there's something they'd prefer. And when it comes to your opponents, try to figure out who's the setter and who's the attacker. If you can lock in on that, defense becomes so much easier. You might even force them into roles they're not used to, and that leads to mistakes. 3 points for you. And the third one is watch where they are facing at. Most spikes go in the direction the attacker is facing, simple as that. Yes, someone like Sanu can tilt and mix it up a bit, but even then, the core facing direction when they jump still gives you a good read on where the spike will likely land. Now let's get into the strategies. Strategy 1. Split blocking. In split blocking, both players are positioned at the net, actively trying to shut down the attacker before the spike even gets through. The goal here is simple: cover as many of the attacker's options as possible. Pros? It's fast-paced, high-pressure defense. An instant counter potential, forces quick decisions from the attacker, and got a solid coverage if executed correctly. It requires perfect timing. The cons? Experienced hitters can still hit around you. The shield breaker ability will just hit through your block, and to counter that, you would need the steel block ability, which is good, but I personally think there are better abilities to choose from, which I will explain later on. Jumping locks your movement, so a wrong jump can leave the field wide open. An experienced team can just outplay you. but especially for beginners or to get used to blocking in general, you should work with it for a while or certain situations. So here's how to do it right. One player positions themselves directly in front of the attacker. This adds pressure and forces quick decisions. The second player shifts slightly to the side, covering the diagonal path, which is often used to get around the straight block. This creates kind of a defensive triangle. And if your timing is good, you'll block or deflect most spikes before they even become dangerous. But when done well, it's a wall the attacker can't break. It's aggressive, but it's also very risky. Because, as mentioned earlier, a good opponent can outplay the setup pretty easily. Let's say they fake a spike on the second touch, you go for the block, but instead they do a quick set to the side, and the real spike comes on the third touch. You've already jumped, you're locked in, and there's no way you're getting there in time. And even if you read the attacker perfectly, in Volleyball Legends they can still spike from outside the antennas, giving them a huge range of angles and letting them choose the exact timing of their hit. And when you're midair, you simply can't adjust anymore. And that's why split blocking is a strategy best used in lower ranks. It works while players are still figuring out the basics. But as soon as you're up against opponents who know how to delay, fake and aim wide, this setup becomes too slow and too risky. You can probably make it work up to silver rank, but beyond that, it's time to evolve. Still, the block mechanic itself is something you should absolutely practice, because blocking is the only way to put direct pressure on an opponent's hitter. Even in higher ranks, a well-timed block can shut down a spike completely, turning defense into offense. So don't skip it, learn it, master it. And here are a few quick tips on how to practice and get better at blocking. Hop into practice mode, go right up to the net and spawn a ball. Now try out different tilt angles. See how tilting forward, sideways or even slightly back changes the way your block reacts. Also experiment with your timing. Blocking early or late, big difference. And also practice facing direction. This one's huge, especially when opponents spike from outside the antennas. Make sure you're facing infield, so you don't block the ball out yourself. That's a classic beginner mistake, and it's easy to avoid. And a little extra. Remember when I said you only get 3 touches? A block doesn't actually count as one of them. That's a real volleyball rule, and yes, it also applies in Volleyball Legends. And that means you can use it to sneak in what's basically a 4th touch, and even steal the ball from your opponent while doing that. Here's how to do it. Turn your facing direction backwards, time your block just right, and then you can steal the ball right off the net from the opponent's side. And that's actually why I wouldn't suggest jump set blocking, because the opponent can easily steal it. Whew, that was a long one. I promise the next strategies won't take as long. Well, hopefully. Let's go. Strategy number 2. Front-back formation. Well, this one's simple. We take the same setup from before, but instead of having 2 blockers, we move 1 player back, just behind the attacking line. Why? Well, remember the risk from split blocking? This setup helps reduce those. By keeping 1 player in the field, you now have someone who can move freely, react better and cover more space. And just like that, the field is no longer just left and right. You're now splitting into front row and back row. 1 player stays up front, applying pressure with blocks, and the other drops into the back, ready to react and receive. The pros? 1 player always stays mobile and flexible, keeps direct pressure on the attacker, and opens up chances for a clean setup or even counterattack after a successful receive. The cons? You still lose 1 player when the blocker jumps. It's harder to sync with your teammate, the blocker often can't see what the back is doing. And a smart team, and especially attackers, can still outplay the formation with fakes and angles. And with this strategy, you're basically introducing a role that many of you might already know from real volleyball. The Libero. Sorry if I mispronounced that, guys. You know I'm German, feel free to roast me in the comments and let me know how to say it right. But the Libero is a pure defensive role, focused entirely on keeping the ball alive, no matter what. They cover the entire back row, and sometimes even support the front by pulling off long, aggressive dives. Some styles that fit that role really well are Nechnoya, Yabu, and the just released secret style Kimiro, who even comes with a secret ability that I will cover in the next video guide soon. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss that. Most Libero styles are very fast and have a high dive stat, to let you cover nearly the entire field with a single slide. Now let's talk about how to actually play this strategy. You've got two main options. On option 1, the blocker covers the second touch and prepares for a diagonal spike if it comes on the third. Meanwhile, the back row defender takes care of the straight line. Pros? The back row player knows exactly where the ball is coming, perfect for a quick setup and instant counter attack. The cons? Diagonal coverage can be weak, and if the second touch turns into a fast surprise spike, they might hit around the block easily. Option 2, which is a little bit more defensive and my personal favorite, the blocker takes the straight path directly in front of the attacker and the back row defender shifts to cover the diagonal. The pros? Diagonal spikes take longer to land, which gives the back defender more reaction time. It's a more stable defense and the blocker adds maximum pressure up front, like the wall of Dateko rising from the ground. Cons? A skilled Sanu can use his tilt to hit through dead zones, or place the ball just in front of the back defender's position. And that means, for the Libero, reaction time is everything. And that's when also abilities can be a serious boost to your reaction game. Check out Rolling Thunder, Team Spirit or Super Sprint. And of course, the Super Dash, the secret skill of Kimiro, the new Libero style. Basically anything that makes you faster, gives you a real edge as a back row defender. And here's a personal tier list of the defensive abilities. Let me know in the comments if I should do a full video covering all the abilities. But let's continue with the strategies. And you might already see where this is going now. Even the front and back setup, with smart positioning, strong blocking and a solid Libero, can still get outplayed by a really good hitter. So what now? It's time for the final strategy, the one you will mostly see in high diamond and pro ranks. Ready? Well, I'm not yet. Before we jump into the final strategy, it's giveaway time. If you made it this far, you deserve a chance to win 1 out of 10 style slots I'm giving away on my Discord. To celebrate hitting 2k subscribers on YouTube, all you have to do is join my Discord via the link in my channel bio and use the secret code Libero2k. Everyone can enter and it's totally free. And also, I'll be doing a new giveaway every 1000 subs coming up. So if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. And join the Discord to stay updated on all the videos, all the events and all the giveaways coming up. Thank you guys. Now let's get back to business and wrap this up with the most advanced strategy in this guide, the double back row defense. This is it. The strategy you'll mostly see in high diamond and pro ranks. Both players are now positioned in the back row, right behind the attacking line, ready to react, set and adapt to any kind of offensive pattern. No blocks, no risk of jumping too early, just clean, calculated defense. Also, you're not reacting to the spikes anymore, you're reacting to the attacker's movement, kind of anticipating and preparing for whatever comes next, even before it happens. The pros? Maximum mobility. Both players stay flexible at all times. It's strong against fake sets, second touch spikes and tilt shots. It's perfect for fast recovery and instant counter setups. And it's also ideal for defending against strong styles like Sanu or a super fast combo like TSK TSH. Basically, you can keep up against any team with that strategy. The cons? No block pressure. Attackers won't feel rushed anymore. You also rely heavily on reaction time and positioning. And mistakes are harder to recover from. One misread and you're wide open. Another con? This strategy is pretty hard for setter styles, and you will see why. First up, this setup is built around anticipation, not just reaction. Your goal is to read the attacker, track their movement and always be one step ahead. Similar to the beginning, one player is now to the left, the other to the right, but both of them right behind the attacking line. And most importantly, ready to set the spike, instead of diving for it. Why sets? Because unlike dives, sets don't put you on cooldown, and don't send you sliding across the map into the void, as if you'd ride a penguin in the world of The Last Airbender. Well, a clean received set keeps you grounded, and gives your teammate a chance to set up an attack immediately. But here's the warning. This strategy only works when both players have a solid game sense, can read touches and stay calm under pressure. If you mistime your move or both defenders shift the same direction, you're done. And that's why you should begin with simple blocks and then step it up. Many of you are looking for the right way to play, the ultimate strategy that will win all games. But let me be honest guys, most of it is experience. And with experience you can do a double block, you can also do front and back. You can use whatever style. If you're experienced, you will win. And that's the key. Play it, guys. Practice it, master it. This is just a guide giving you a step-by-step explanation on how to step your game up. So here comes a final tip, which is also a warning that I mentioned before in the cons. This strategy is hard for setter styles, because obviously you're going to set receive, and that's a reaction game. A setter style with a full power set is just too much. It will take all the control out of the game, or even worse, put the ball right back to the opponent. So that's why you gotta use low power sets by activating advanced moves and holding the set button early. This gives you more control and prevents you from accidentally setting the ball right back to the opponent. But even if you're not a setter style, I totally recommend holding the set button for as long as you're on defense, because it's a reaction game and you just have to let go of the button instead of pushing and letting go. It's 0.1 second difference, but trust me, it's gonna help you. Diving is still allowed, but keep in mind it will heavily affect your movement and put you on cooldown for a solid second afterwards. And if you happen to use a Libero style, of course you should work with that dive. But if you do, you put yourself a little bit more back into the corner and then dive infield, because somewhere there the ball is going to land. So that's the final layer of defense, and if you master it, you're ready for the top tier of Volleyball Legends. And that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Auf Wiedersehen and see you in the next one. And a quick shout out to Winix, Siegele, Chris and Mert, who are all members of my Discord, so make sure to join. Thank you, guys. Stay sharp, stay solid and stay in position.